Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to sit down and share with you all some activities that are going to help develop fine motor skills, that are going to be some sensory play, and just some learning activities for toddlers, and all of these activities could be modified for babies as well. Most of the activities that I'm going to show you today are going to be items that you can find in your home. You don't have to go out and buy a ton of stuff. For the most part, everything that I'm showing you today is just items that I found in my cabinets and that we just had around the house. It's those kind of things that make some great sensory play, so I can't wait to show you guys. If you guys are new here, I'd love to have you as a subscriber, so make sure to hit that red subscribe button down below. I have a 19-month-old baby girl. Actually, she's just about 20 months old. But I share a lot of sensory activities and fun activities to do with children as well in my daily vlogs, and I do daily vlog a lot. So again, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you are enjoying this video so far. So before I start sharing my 5 activities, I just want to go over a couple things. So I'm going to talk about sensory play a lot, and I'm also going to talk about fine motor skills. So I just wanted to briefly explain what those are in case you're unfamiliar with them. When I say fine motor skills, basically that's just anything that's going to help a child complete a task. For example, some fine motor skills are writing, coloring, feeding themselves, buttoning up a shirt, zipping up a shirt. Those are all fine motor skills and very important to practice as a child develops. When I'm talking about sensory play is any type of activity that is going to stimulate your child's senses. So sensory activities are great for facilitating exploration, and I firmly believe that that is such an important part of a child's development. We don't strictly follow the Montessori approach, but I love everything about the Montessori approach. I love Montessori schools, so it's definitely something I'm going to be looking into when my child is ready to go to school. Sensory activities can really help support language development, they can help with cognitive growth, and they help develop fine and gross motor skills as well. Not to mention, they touch on problem-solving skills and cause and effect. All of those kind of tie in together to sensory play. Anyways, that's enough talking. I'm gonna jump into the 5 sensory activities that I'm going to share with you guys. So if you guys watch my channel and you watch my vlogs, the very first activity I'm going to share with you, you've probably seen before, but I wanted to include this in this video because it is such a great activity. But this is water beads. This is playing with water beads. Water beads are a great sensory activity for children. Any of these activities that I share with you, keep in mind that some of them could be hazards to your child, so you know your child best and you know when your child is ready to do something. So just keep that in mind as you're watching this as well. But anyways, there are so many different ways to use these water beads for sensory play. What we did this morning actually is I felt like I was going to regret this, but it actually wasn't too bad because these sensory beads can be a mess. But I brought our water table inside. If you guys are new here, we live in Phoenix, Arizona, and it's currently 116 degrees outside. Not even joking. So it's too hot for us to play outside. So this is kind of our winter. So we're stuck inside right now. So I brought our water table inside our house and I filled it up with sensory beads. I bought these off of Amazon, and of course I'll link them down below. But all you have to do is let them soak overnight in the water, and then in the morning they're ready to play. So very little prep to get these ready. So we ended up buying an ocean set. So these water beads actually came with some sea creatures and sea animals. So it's been a really fun activity for Scarlett to play with. Anyways, some ways we've played with water beads in the past is we'll have 2 little containers and I'll have her scoop the water beads out and put it in the second container, and this really helps with fine motor skills as well. Today she was just playing in the water beads. She had a shovel, she was doing a little bit of scooping. Instead of scooping out the beads today, what we were doing is we were playing hide and seek. So I would hide the ocean animals and she would find the ocean animals and take it out, and then she would put it in a separate container. So by handling the water beads with either their hands, their fingers, some kind of tool like a shovel or a cup, this is really helping develop their fine motor skills. If you're doing the activity where you pour one thing from another, and this could be done with anything, this could be done with rice, we're doing water beads, but this is teaching them cause and effect as well. So many different things are being taught to your child when doing this kind of play. I've seen other people do activities like this and they have rainbow colored water beads, and what they'll do is they'll really practice colors. So they'll separate out the colors. So they'll get out all the reds first and then all the oranges, and this is really just helping them learn their colors as well. So that's another way you could play with the water beads. Another thing you could do for some a different type of sensory play and something to do on a hot day is you can actually take the water beads and freeze them as well. And it just gives them a different feeling of the water beads. But yes, there's endless things to do with water beads. So I would highly recommend doing something like this with your child if they are of age to play with water beads. So when you're doing a sensory activity with your child, it's really important to just talk with them and let them lead the activity and ask them questions. Some questions you could ask your child as they're playing with these beads is, how do they feel? Do they feel cold? Are they slimy? You could also ask questions like, are they cold? What colors are they? So little questions like that are really going to help get your child's mind thinking and really just educate them as they're playing. And I'm all about doing activities and teaching in the moment. I feel like that is how my child has learned the best. And I know everybody's different, but I feel like overall, if you're able to take an everyday activity and teach your child during that activity, that is how they're going to learn the most. Okay, so the second activity I'm going to share is super simple, and I actually just saw this on Instagram. I'm getting a lot of my inspiration from a few Instagram pages that I follow, and I'll make sure to link them down below in case you guys want to check them out, because there is endless sensory activities that they share, and I love these Instagram accounts. So again, I'll link them below. But this activity requires just some kind of container. I just used a casserole dish. You can really use anything. And then I just put some toys inside it, and then I also put a whisk. And inside the whisk, and this is just a whisk for my kitchen, just something I already had. Inside the whisk, I stuck cotton balls in it. So I've seen this activity done with pom-poms, and it's actually probably better than putting cotton balls in it, but I did not have pom-poms, so I decided just to use cotton balls because I wanted to use what I had in my house. But anyways, this little whisk activity is kind of a problem-solving, thinking game for a toddler to play. This would actually work for a child 6 months plus. But yeah, so basically they just pull the cotton balls or the pom-poms out of the whisk, and it's a fun little game for them. So inside our casserole dish, I did put one of those, and then I put some rubber ducks because she loves rubber ducks. And then on top of it, I just covered it with some saran wrap, some plastic wrap. And the whole point of this is she's going to have to figure out and problem solve how to get her toys from the casserole dish into her little hands. So she has to poke it and tear it and try to get those toys, and it's just a really fun, simple activity that is guaranteed to keep your child entertained. So this is actually 2 different activities combined into one. I kind of created up my own thing here and combined some activities into one. So the pom-pom activity could be used for a child 6 months and older. This plastic saran wrap activity, I would probably recommend for maybe 12 months or older, or if you're monitoring your child and they're not going to put plastic wrap in their mouth. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But with the whisk activity and putting pom-poms in it, this could be a really good way to teach your child colors as well. This kind of activity with the whisk is also going to help hand and eye coordination. It's also going to promote focus and concentration. So the third activity I'm going to share with you guys, and you may have already seen this too, but I had to include it because it's so good. Basically, this activity requires a Connect 4 game and some aluminum foil. So you don't even have to use the aluminum foil actually, but I decided to take it up a step further and use the aluminum foil. But basically this activity, all you do is just give them the little coins of the Connect 4, and all you're going to do is encourage your child to take the coin and drop it into the frame of the Connect 4 game. This is such an easy activity that is guaranteed to keep your toddler entertained. I know it does mine. When they're holding those little coins, this is really going to help promote their pencil grip too, which is pretty cool to start working on that at such a young age. And I've actually noticed since we've been playing this game that my daughter Scarlett, when she's coloring, she's using a pencil grip. So I feel like this activity has really been helpful with naturally teaching her the right way to hold a pencil, or a crayon is what she uses. This is actually a very good activity for a child because they have to not only grab the coin with their fingers, they have to line up the coin with the frame and drop it in. So they're seeing a cause and effect happen there as well. By picking up the coins with their little fingers and dropping them into the frame, this is not only teaching fine motor control, but this is commonly known as the voluntary grasp and release. So your child is learning so many different things through this activity. If your child is really succeeding in this little task, you could actually step this up a little further, and this is what I've been doing with Scarlett, is I will take some aluminum foil, and you do want to be careful because it could potentially cut your baby's hands, but we've never had this issue, and we've played with these aluminum foil games for a long time. So just as a disclaimer, keep that in mind. But I will just cut up some aluminum foil pieces, and then I'll take one of the coins and wrap the aluminum foil, and then I will give her the coins that are wrapped in aluminum foil, and she has to unwrap the coins and then put the coin inside the frame. So it just makes it a little bit more challenging. You can start by gently wrapping up the coin. So once they're actually getting used to unwrapping the coin and dropping it in, make the aluminum foil a little bit tighter. So pat it down and make it real tight so it's a little bit more challenging. So there's a lot of different ways you could play this game. If you wanted to take it up a step further, something that I thought of when I was playing this game with her is that you could actually incorporate this into the plastic wrap container game. So you could actually put the coins that are wrapped in foil in a container, and then you could cover that with plastic wrap, and then they would have to break into the plastic wrap, grab out the coin, unwrap it with the aluminum foil, and then put it into the frame. I'm going to try this for Scarlett. I haven't done this yet, but I guarantee this is going to be even better and she's going to love it even more. So I just wanted to let you guys know that's something else that I think would be a really good option. For my fourth activity I'm sharing with you all, this is a super simple game as well, and these are items we already had, but we obviously did have to purchase it. So all you're going to need is some Play-Doh, and then these eggs or some kind of toy. It doesn't have to be these eggs that we're using, but first of all, let me just talk about this little egg carton that we have. This has been such a good game for Scarlett. This activity really helped her learn her colors, it helped her learn her numbers, it's helping her learn hand coordination. It's just been such a good activity. So basically all it is this egg carton, and there's these eggs inside, and you open up the eggs, and inside them there is a different color in each one, and then there's also different pegs. So like for example, the number 3 will have 3 pegs. So it's a really cool activity in itself because they have to open the egg and then figure out how to get it back together. So there's some problem solving going in with that activity as well. But anyways, I took this game a step further, and I actually came up with this activity on my own. I'm sure people have done this before, and I'm sure this isn't new, but it was something that I haven't seen anybody else do. So what I did is I took her eggs, and then I got some Play-Doh, and I smashed the Play-Doh around the eggs and covered it up completely. So this is something that can be prepared the night before, during nap time. So simple, you guys, it's so easy. Anyway, she figured this out immediately. She knew what it was. So I gave her the egg, and she had to dig through the Play-Doh and find the egg, and then she tried opening them. The only downside to this activity is the Play-Doh did kind of make the eggs a little slippery, so she was having trouble opening up the eggs, and she doesn't normally have trouble, so she did need help with that a little bit, but overall this was a good activity too, and something kind of fun to do. The fifth activity that I'm going to share with you guys today is, again, so simple. So all you're going to need is some kind of toy, a small toy that you don't mind getting wet, and then you're just going to need a little container and some water. So what I did is I took 4 different shapes from, I don't even know, one of her toys that she has. I took 4 shapes, just 4 simple shapes that I'm trying to work on her with. That's what we're trying to learn right now, is her shapes. So I took these shapes and I just placed them in a little container, and then I froze them overnight. Just added some water and froze them overnight. So when we were ready to play with this, I just popped them out. We took them outside. She sat down and played with them and touched them, and I asked her, is that cold? So we were learning hot and cold because then it started to melt, and I was trying to teach her that the cement was hot and that's why it was melting. And she did catch on pretty well. She kind of already knew hot and cold, but yeah, it was just a really good activity. And so once it melted, then we have those 4 shapes that are different colors. So of course you can touch on the colors there as well. But I was trying to use this activity to really help her with shape identification. And so after they melt, I tried to get her to remember what each shape was. She has a star down, she has a circle down, and she has a triangle down. But for some reason, she cannot get a square, and I understand the rectangle. She has not learned a rectangle yet. So we're still working on those, and sometimes she still gets them mixed up. But yeah, it was a really good activity, and it was fun and simple and didn't cost any money at all. And she had a blast, so it was definitely a win. Okay guys, that wraps up my 5 activities that are going to help your child be entertained and also provide some kind of sensory play and help develop some fine motor skills. I just want to say that during each of these activities, it's so important to really just let them guide you during this time. Let them be the ones in charge for a short period of time. Let them guide you and ask them questions. Let them direct you through their imagination and just get their little minds open and thinking, and just such an important part of a child's development in my opinion. So I will try to link as many things that I talked about in this video down below in case you guys did want to purchase any of these things for your own child. Also, if you guys have any great sensory activities that you think are just a hit with your child, comment below. I think the community would really like to read through those comments, and I know I would too as well. I always love trying new activities. I also encourage you guys to go follow me over on Instagram because I do share some of our sensory activities in my Instagram stories as well, so I would love for you guys to follow me over there, so I'll make sure to link it down below. If you guys found this video helpful at all, and if you like these activities that I shared, please give this video a thumbs up and maybe I can make a part 2 to this video. Again, if you were new here, please make sure you hit that red subscribe button down below, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.